Not that anybody's counting, but as I understand it, there are only about 5 days left in the session. And what I guess the purpose of this visit is to reinforce this larger to-do list. I mean, inevitably, across the different corners of South Carolina, a lot of husbands or wives, as the case may have been, had to-do lists over the weekend. I know I certainly had my share. And as we wrap up these last couple of days, I think it's very, very important that we keep some things on the to-do list that don't fall off to the following year. We've talked about those, the importance of DUI reform, workers' comp, DOT reform. But let me add as well the real opportunity that we have here at the state level to address immigration. It has certainly been talked about at the federal level, where they're looking at much more comprehensive and holistic strategies. But I think that if you look at the way that states can be faster moving in enacting policy, and if you look at what neighboring states have done in Georgia and in Tennessee and in Louisiana, what you see are a number of states of saying, wait, there is something that we can do, whether it happens or doesn't happen at the federal level, we don't know, but something we can do is tied simply to really this larger theme of identity theft, the larger theme of actually employer verification, making sure you know who you're hiring. That's something we can do, and in fact has been done in a number of other states around the country. We have bills both in the House and Senate side that are ready to go, that could be acted upon before we wrap up the session. And the purpose of this is to say, let's grab one of those bills and let's get this done here in the last 5 days of session, so this opportunity doesn't business. And really sit on the sidelines here for the next 6+ months as this federal mandate continues to roll on. I guess I hand off to you first. Is that proper protocol?
Yes, thank you, Governor.
Yes, sir.
Governor, thank you for the opportunity today to address this most important issue. I appreciate your calling the press conference and pledging your support for illegal immigration reform in South Carolina. Today in South Carolina, we have nearly 50,000 illegal immigrants, and we have seen a 1,000% increase over the past 15 years. To combat this problem, the Senate undertook a study committee under the direction of Senator McConnell last year. A number of my colleagues who served on that subcommittee are with us here today. After 6 months of hearing, we crafted the Illegal Immigration Reform Act because South Carolina, as the governor suggested, has a duty and a responsibility to act in the absence of federal action to control the borders and deal with illegal immigration. The bill that we crafted passed the Senate in April and is currently pending in the House, and the House Judiciary is working on that bill. We've also taken a House bill and put the Senate bill on top of that in the Senate. I want to touch base with you on a couple of provisions of the bill, and I think my colleagues would like to talk about some of the interests they had in the bill as well. Principally, the bill mandates that state and local agencies must verify the legal status of folks who seek state benefits. Also requires state and local governments to contract with those businesses who can verify a legal workforce in order to make sure that the state's taxpayers' money is being spent with those who play by the rules. It also prohibits businesses from claiming tax deductions for illegal workers. It requires specialized training for our law enforcement officials to deal with the problems of illegal immigration and crime. We've also strengthened our ability to deal with illegal immigration and crime by empowering our grand jury to deal with these issues in the most serious cases. Finally, I want to let Senator Kempson take the lead on this after I speak. It works on issues of identity theft, which she has taken a keen interest in. Also, to protect South Carolina employees, folks who live and work in our state and have families in our state, if they are fired for the specific purpose of hiring an illegal worker to take their place, that employee now has a cause of action to protect his own rights. It's a comprehensive bill. It deals with all the issues we can deal with at the state level. We think it has broad bipartisan support at the Senate. We hope the House will help us take it up and pass it this year. As the governor alluded, our sister states in the Southeast have passed strong bills. Georgia's bill will take effect next month. Unless South Carolina acts this year, we stand the chance of becoming a haven in South Carolina for more illegal immigration into our state causing greater pressure on our state's resources and overwhelming our ability to deal with it effectively. If we don't act this year, it will be nearly a year before South Carolina can address this question again. I don't think we can afford that. I don't think South Carolinians expect us to do that. And I look forward to working with my colleagues in both the House and the Senate to affect this bill's passage this year. And with that, I'll turn it over to Senator Kim. You want to talk about that point?
Thank you, Senator. Well, first of all, why do you need to pass illegal immigration reform? Number one is because the federal government it's become clear that it's very questionable whether they'll do anything or do anything meaningful, number one. And number two, there really are a lot of things the state can do. And a nation that does not maintain its borders will eventually lose its national integrity. And it's a security risk. It puts companies, businesses that do play by the rules at a disadvantage when we just don't enforce the immigration laws. I want to commend Senator McConnell for putting together a study committee, and Senator Ritchie for chairing that study committee. I was appointed as a member of that study committee, and we spent many months and took a lot of testimony in developing this piece of legislation. One thing that's good about the bill, as far as from a political reality, the perspective of political reality, is we started with the House bill that the House, under the leadership of Chairman Harrison, sent to us last year. And so we started as a foundation with a piece of legislation that the general concepts of which the House demonstrated support for. So hopefully the House will pass it this year before we adjourn. One key component of the bill that I took a real interest in was the issue of identity theft and fraudulent documents, because that's really the mother's milk of illegal immigration. If you don't have your fraudulent IDs, you really shut down illegal immigration. And that's something that's completely within the purview of the state to enforce. And so the bill gives to the statewide grand jury and gives to the Attorney General prosecutorial powers over identity theft and fraudulent document production. And it makes not just the user of a fraudulent document, but the maker, the producer of a fraudulent document, subject to criminal penalties, subject to reimbursing the taxpayer when the fraudulent documents they make are used to obtain public benefits. It also creates a civil cause of action in the case of identity theft. Just earlier this month in Lexington County, we had some identity theft occur in the context of illegal immigration, and what this legislation would have done, if it were law, is enable that individual who had their identity stolen by an illegal immigrant to obtain treble damages, or triple the amount of damages, not just from the user of that fraudulent document, but also the maker, the entity, or the cottage industry that's out there, the fraudulent document industry. Those people would also be liable for civil damages and for criminal penalties. And that's something that's totally within the purview of the state, and it's very important that we crack down on that identity theft and the fraudulent document production that's really the mother's milk of the illegal immigration issue. And so